Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Frank, and I think it's time for a MK85 update. So this thing's a little uncomfortable to be in right now because I don't have everything buckled up right. I'm also not wearing the legs because I don't want to. And I'm gonna take this off in a minute, but first I wanted to show you guys some of the functionality I have in it now. And I realized that I kind of just been working on it and not like showing you guys in the YouTube videos. I answer any questions you guys ask, but I think it's time I need to like show you the suit, you know? It's pretty much done. There's just some refinements to make. The legs are a little uncomfortable. I'm still working on that. I think I'm always gonna be working on that, and I don't think there's any way around that, but it's done. Like, I'm not wearing the bicep either. It's a little hard. Like I said in some other videos, it's a little difficult to put it all on together without a little bit of help. I did have to finally make that sacrifice. So I could get this bicep on, but it wouldn't be buckled in, and then the dexterity goes down. So this will have to do, and I hope you guys are enjoying that. So I was able to do what I was talking about and get the switches to be, the helmet and all that, to be controlled with the fingers on both sides. I have my pinky out so I can actually touch the camera. So please, you know, bear with me here. But basically, I have a reed switch in my pointer finger, and I have a reed switch in my middle finger. And depending on the proximity of the magnet in my thumb, they'll open and close. So all I have to do is bring these two fingers together and the mask will close. So, pretty cool, huh? And then I can open. And depending on when I move my finger, I can actually kind of control where the helmet stops. So I can kind of like feather it so it's not as violent. And there's little limiter switches, which I'll show you in a minute, to actually tell the helmet when to stop opening and stop closing. This way it doesn't burn out the motors and is controlled by the relays. Now, the infinity stones are also controlled with my middle finger the same way that I showed you before. So those do work very nicely, and I can make the little snap pose and turn them on and off at my leisure, basically. So that's actually pretty convenient to have, if you will. So I definitely have no quarrels there. Yeah, this thing, I'm so happy. I'm sorry, I'm also tired, guys. Had a little event last night in the suit, so wearing it was a little tricky. It revealed some things. It was my first full outing in the suit, and yeah, it definitely highlighted some issues with it, but we'll fix those, and there'll be another update video, so that'll be kind of fun. You can also see the wires hanging out my wrist right here, so that's fun too. But the big thing I wanted to be able to control the eyes. Let me open this all the way. There we go. I wanted to be able to control the eyes when the mask was down, because I want to be able to, you know, kind of stay in that character and not reveal my face, because you know, I'm obviously not Tony Stark, and I'm not trying to be, but I don't want to show kids that it's somebody else under the suit. So when the mask is down, I still have functionality over my eyes with one of those flip-flop switches that I showed you before. So if I close the mask, and then my pointer fingers, so I have complete control over the eyes when the mask is actually down, and this way I can actually keep it down, walk around, see everything, and I can just turn them back on at my leisure, very simply. And as long as the eye lights are actually on, when I open and close the mask, they'll always turn back on and off. And then obviously we have the body LED lights, and I've showed you guys that. So let me get this thing off, and I'll show you some more of the electronics that are kind of inside, how I wired everything, how all the wires are ran. But, oh, yeah, last thing, the repulsor. The little triggers I have on my wrist work absolutely perfectly. This one's a little more complicated, unfortunately, because of the infinity gauntlet, so it doesn't always work. I have to like kind of position my wrist the right way for it to actually turn on and off. But people don't want to see the repulsor on this side. They want the infinity stones. This side works a lot better, so I can kind of do the whole infinity stone kind of pose and do all that fun stuff. So let me take this thing off, hang out. All right, that feels much better. I'm off, so we're gonna kind of cover a little bit of everything. This is gonna be a long one. It probably already is a long one if you already made it to this point. But I want to give you guys a very good update. It's probably going to be 30 minutes or less, but I haven't really done a MK85 update in a while, and I really just want to show you guys all of this and answer a lot of the questions you guys have been asking. So let's get started. So here's everything for the suit kind of taken apart, plugged in, and laid out. That's the entire electrical system sitting right there. And I'm gonna go over all of this and how everything's ran. What I'm not gonna talk about is, I'm really not gonna talk about the legs. We've already kind of gone over the morph suit and the harness system and the updated cod piece, but I will show you real quick a nice little update I did to the shoes. So a lot of people asked like, oh, hey, what are you doing for the shoes? These are just shoe covers with an elastic band that actually wraps around the shoe, and then I updated this. This is the Achilles heel. Now some people attach this to the back of the shin. I decided not to do that. The reason I didn't do that is because it was making it very hard for me to actually get my foot slipped into the bottom of here. So it actually wraps around the front right here, and then that's totally fine. Then I have this string right here with a magnet at the top, and what that lets me do is actually lets me put the legs on completely by itself. So what I can do is slide my foot in there and pull this up. And what that's doing is it's actually pulling the tongue of the shoe up, so I can actually slip my foot in there and actually like pull it up through the shin. This way I'm able to actually wear the legs by myself. I just need a couple little extra things to finish putting it on, like the arms, but the leg system I can get on completely by myself. Now, at the event I was at last night, it was a little trick-or-treating thing for kids. Don't worry, it was very COVID compliant and safe, but it did take some damage. There was some wear and tear. There's going to be, the paint will rub off. There was just a little bit of snafus, but I made this thing to wear it, so it's gonna take a little damage. I'm okay with that. It was a blast. The kids loved it, and I really I can't complain about that at all. It was a lot of fun. So that literally just lets me pull the shoe up, and I don't actually. Once I cut the foot apart, I actually didn't use any of the back. I do plan on trying to make some cover for in here, but you really can't see it once the whole foot is together. And then the thighs are still hanging on the armor stand the same way that they always do, and they hang off of the harness. The cod piece took the most amount of damage. You can see just how scuffed up and destroyed it got from right here, up from the thighs, basically touching where they're touching on this other cod piece. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to either trim or reinforce this, get better paint or clear coat. But yeah, this thing took a little bit of damage, and it even cracked right over here. So hey, it happens. I'm showing you guys this stuff so you can prepare for it and try to avoid it. So yeah, I'm okay though. It'll be all right. And we've already talked about the biceps, how the biceps now hang with little buckles on the sides of the chest, or the back plate right here. And yeah, so that's all good. And you guys will notice that I have my magnetic helmet there, and I have my new motorized helmet there. So the magnetic helmet is the one I've been using this whole time. It's in the photo shoots. The faceplate is magnetic. It's scaled down to 94%. This helmet could not fit me any tighter. It is as small as possible. This is the Akira Mark 85 helmet from CD Trader. I talk about it all the time. This is his V4 version, and it's his V4 version because the light sockets back here, they're more like ovals. He did just release a V5 version, and that's what I went and printed, and you can see that the light sockets on the back are a little more photo accurate. And he actually scaled it down just a little bit. So this is printed at 96%, and I was able to actually get this motorized, and we'll go peek inside the helmet in a minute. But I'm gonna kind of show you the layout of all of this. And I wanna remind you guys that everything here was done with basically everything right here. I kind of laid it out to give you a very quick summation of everything to remind you of all the stuff that went into this. So we originally started with, all these little buckles and straps, and I have a nice collection now, and you can get these on Amazon for super cheap. Plastic buckles, parachute buckles, get those. This is elastic band. You can get nylon band that's sitting back here. So get a good stock of this stuff. This big box of Velcro is absolutely invaluable. This was like $7 or $8, and this is great for attaching different things all around the suit. Hot glue, lighters, there's some leather in there. We have our JST connectors. These are 5-pin JST connectors, and these are 3-pin JST connectors. A pack of these is super cheap on Amazon. We have our wires. We have our 12-volt COB LED lights. We have little pressure triggers, and this is what I use inside the helmet and in the wrists. We have our MG90 servos, and originally when I was talking about motorizing helmets, I was messing with these SG90 servos. These are soft gear. So these ones are plastic and they break very easily. So I've gone and upgraded to these MG ones, these Metal Gear servos, which is just cool to say. And they're much stronger and much more reliable. These are the reed switches that are in the fingers of the suit. And then they're, I've talked about these before. They're these very, very tiny little switches that they interrupt the electrical signal. Let me zoom in here so you can kind of see it. They interrupt the electrical signal. and once you put a magnet in close proximity to it, it'll allow electricity to pass. Now you can get two different types of reed switches, normally opened, normally closed. How it is sitting right here without any magnetism is what I have. These are normally open. No current can go through these at all right now. And you can get the reverse and play with those. I did get my hands on some Arduinos though, because I am going to start messing with that. That's going to be in Star Boost, and maybe one day I'll update the MK85, but we'll see. So I have a nice little collection of servos here. This is a relay board, a dual relay servo board. You can use this with an Arduino. It's made for an Arduino. I was able to use it without it by pulsing 5 volt to it. I talk about that in one of the other update videos when I showed the diagrams. This is a butt ton of neodymium magnets. I'm actually starting to run out a little bit. You can see they just all stick together right there. It's very hard to close this thing. And then these are a bunch of screws and nuts and bolts that I bought for my 3D printers, but they actually happen to work very well with the helmet motorization kit. So just get a kit of these. You really won't be mad or sad you did. They can go into a lot of things. So that's really everything that's gone into the suit, and obviously spray paint. So let's kind of dig into here, and like I said before, this is going to be a little bit of a long video because I want to show you guys everything and tell you what I've learned, because just every day, every time I upgrade this thing, I learn something new. So here's all the functionality of it again. I have a magnet right here in my hand. There's a magnet in the thumb. It's a neodymium magnet. It's kind of just taped up in there. You're not going to be able to see it. You can kind of see the electrical tape reflecting. But when I bring my thumb in close proximity to the middle finger, you can see just how sensitive that reed switch is. It works through plastic without any issue. So I can turn it on and off. And that also goes the same for the eyes. So let's see if I can kind of get this shot in there. We'll do that. See? So it works the same for the reed switch that's in the finger. And all these switches are doing, they are just two triggers that are interrupting, going all the way down these wires. They come into here, and I only have a duct tape on this to kind of cover it up. It's really not that big of a spider nest or spider web, I promise you. So these are the flip-flop switches that I'm using. So this one is for the stones. I wrote stones on the top. This one is for the eyes. And all this is doing, when I touch the reed switch together, it's allowing the circuit to close from the positive and negative. And then if I was to take out these two wires, these two black wires, and touch them together, the eyes would just stay on at all times. The same goes for the two wires, this white and this blue wire. If they were to just be touched together, the stones would stay on all the time. So this flip-flop switch is a relay with memory. It's the same as this, except it knows where it stayed. That's why when I can turn it on, the mask will open and close, and it'll remember that the eyes were on or the eyes are off. The same with the infinity stones. When I go and cycle them back and forth, they'll just turn on and stay on, or they'll turn off and stay off. So it's a very handy little thing. It just runs off a 5 volt, and it's just invaluable to have. I also updated the wiring inside the glove, made it a lot cleaner. I have the harness, those little JST connectors, and I'm running just the bare minimum of wires. So this connector has a 5-pin JST and then a 2-pin. It was one of the 3 pins, but I cut the green wire out because I didn't need it. And then the repulsor wire as it comes out, and if I flip this upside down, you can see the repulsor. I still need to repaint the inside of the gloves. I'm still updating the gloves. That's that little pressure trigger, and I have it hooked up to the normally closed side or normally open side, so when the trigger gets hit, the light turns on and off. So all this is doing is interrupting it. If I unplug this, that light has no chance of ever going on. As for the LED eyes, and if you guys haven't already noticed, I no longer have my 5 volt battery pack in there. It's actually sitting over here, and I had to take it out, and I have a solution for it. I just haven't ordered them yet. The problem with certain USB battery packs is after a few minutes, they'll automatically turn off if there isn't enough of a load on them, like they're charging something. Turns out the electricity in the suit to power these relay boards wasn't enough to actually keep it on. There isn't enough electrical draw in the system. So what I ended up doing, because I kind of forgot for a second, my 12 volt USB battery pack right here actually has a 5 volt output. So this connector up here, this black and red wire, this is my 12 volt system. So if I unplug this, all my LED lights will go off. But you'll notice that my eyes are still on, and I can actually still control them with the flip-flop switch, because the 5 volt USB side is still providing power to everything. So what I can do, I actually should be able to still open and close the helmet if I'm not crazy. Yep. So the reed switches in my pointer finger and middle finger still work. So I have the reed switch for the close and the pointer finger, because that's always going to be closest to my thumb. So if I accidentally trigger it, it's just going to keep the mask down. And then when I put the reed switch near the open, you can hear it go. So, and you can, as I was saying before, if I kind of feather it, I can kind of pick where the mask stops. Now there's still no microcontrollers or servos or programming in this, so it is a little more brute force, but I like it and it works. And when I actually activate the reed switch, you'll see lights come up and activate on the board. So, but you'll notice the close stays closed. That's because right in the helmet, I actually have a trigger sitting right about here in there, and I'll show you guys in a minute. This is the limiter switch. So when this switch gets triggered, what it does is it stops any power from going to the relay board, and it stops any power from continuing to put torque on the servos. I haven't installed the full open one yet, so that's why when I open it, you can still see that light on, but when I close it, the light turns off. So there's no way I can activate the closed motors anymore. The electricity completely stops. Now I can turn this 12-volt battery pack back on, and plug it back in, and then we should get our body lights back in. There we go. And this is just a very, very simple 12-volt DC system. Positive, negative come out to the arc reactor. It comes out to the body lights. It jumps across here. One of these is the 5-volt, and one of these is the 12-volt, and it runs. So here's my USB wire that was originally going to plug into the battery pack here, but for now it just goes here. And if I sometime if I ever find a battery pack that will stay on and I do what I need to, I'll have the 5-volt battery pack sitting right there, totally fine, and it won't go anywhere. So I'm looking forward to that. And because I don't want to ruin the LED eyes, those LED eyes take a 3-volt. So what I did is I took one of the battery packs that come with the Cosplay LED eyes, and I just used that. So these are some rechargeable Duracell batteries. So now my LED eyes are constantly running off of that 3-volt battery pack, and they're just going through that flip-flop switch and right up to the helmet. So everything works in conjunction with itself. There's no programming, and a lot of people on TikTok especially have been saying, well, why didn't you just program it? Why didn't you just, it'd be so easy to do. You'd save so much space. If I added Arduinos to this system, the only wires that would actually get eliminated would be the 2 triggers that are in the LED eyes that actually tell it to when to stop opening and stop closing. I would still need most of these wires. I would still need the power wires to the stones. I would still need the triggers. I would still need every type of input to the Arduino. So I really wouldn't save a lot of space. This works fine. This works efficiently 100% of the time. There's no coding, there's no debugging. Maybe it's a little more strain on the servos, maybe it's a little more strain on some of the systems, but to me it works. And this is a much easier entry-level system for somebody who has no idea how to code or program, when you can just do a DC system like this and it works flawlessly every time. So I really wouldn't save that much space. As anybody who actually knows how to do this, you understand that you still need those inputs and triggers. Now, yes, I don't have flicker and fade, and I can't do all these flashing lights, but I'm okay with that for now because this was the simpler system for me, and I'm very happy with it. So eventually I will upgrade that, but for now, I'm totally fine with that. Now, some of my next steps here, I'm going to be adding elastic bands to the wire that goes down the arm so it stays on my arm in like a better position, probably like near my elbow or down my forearm. That's totally fine. I'm very happy with that, how that all works out. I am going to clean up some things in here. I'm going to get rid of the duct tape. This was a very rushed job to cover it up, but I am all about cable management, and I like this looking as clean as possible. So that's going to be part of my next goal for doing all of this. And let me get inside the helmet, and I'm going to have to put the camera on the tripod so you guys can see this much better. So hold on. I'm sitting down for this so I can kind of show you guys this helmet. So this helmet was done in like 3 days just to have a motorized helmet, and this was motorized using the Crashworks Mark 85 helmet motorization kit tutorial. I'll leave a link for that down below. It is for motorizing helmets. It's a great little tutorial to guide. I'm going to be making a video on it on the Mark 85 helmet specifically, but it worked great. I had to modify it because this helmet was so tight on my head. The bracket that they provided still didn't fit. So I had to do a lot of modification to get this to work. It's on a scaled down helmet, but you guys shouldn't have that problem. I just really was trying to crunch the space, and it turned out pretty good. So since this is the V5 Akira Yuming helmet, it actually has magnets, little slots for magnets built into the side right there, and I was able to glue them in. So now the jaw just kind of locks in,
and it's enough to stay on my head without any problems, and then I can just pull it off when I'm done with it. So this is the inside of the helmet, and there's not much going on up there. The two white wires that are in the center right here, these are for the servos, and they go into this harness down here. And then I have the LED eyes basically just coming down off of a hinge over here. So they come down on the hinge right there, right in here, and they're just taped to the side. They come down here. I left a little plug right there, a little white plug, and that's so I can actually take the faceplate off if I need to repaint it. I didn't want to put any permanent wires in there, because if I take the screws out, then I'd have to cut the wires every time to get the faceplate apart. So I put a little connector in there and taped it down. This way when I take the faceplate off with the little screws, I can absolutely just, take it off with no problems. You can see some of the welding I had to do in there. This bracket is normally twice as thick, and I put some felt in there to give like a little bit of comfort on my forehead, but it works. The alignment is great. It closes. I probably could have aligned it a little better at the top, but like, you're really not going to notice. And at this point, beggars can't be choosers. I'm still happy with it. So it opens and closes just fine, and you can see that little flip effect it has. So it goes up and then it comes back, and I love that. It looks absolutely great. The gold looks really nice right now, actually, because there's no clear coat on it. This helmet is just raw paint. I didn't have time to clear coat it, so whatever. Now over here you can see another trigger. Let me try to get some light on it. So this is the trigger that tells the helmet to stop closing. I apologize for all audio for the past few minutes because I had the microphone backwards. My bad. So this is the servo that tells the helmet to stop closing. So when it comes down, the relay will no longer get power. Now you can't kill the power to the servo itself, because then it won't know it can reverse and start opening. And if you look at my diagrams in the previous update videos, it'll make a little more sense. I am doing a video on this, so please be patient. It's hard to get it all out to words and explain it in a good tutorial. So just please have some patience with that. And then the last thing I need to do is I need to put another limiter trigger somewhere else in the helmet to tell this helmet, the faceplate, to stop opening as far as it does. This way I don't put as much strain on the servos. So that's still to come. This helmet is so tight on my head, I literally couldn't run some of the wires over the ears. You can actually see where there was some previous tape. Let's see if I can get it. Right there, there was some previous tape that was super glued to the inside of the helmet, and it was so tight that when I actually put it on my head, it was squeezing my brain. You can see even without the jaw, the helmet stays on because of the felt that's on the front of the forehead, and it stays on there really nicely, actually. I actually had to hand paint the gunmetal on this. I had to spray the gunmetal into a little container, a little paint holder, and hand brush it all on because the red was still drying. I had sprayed the red, and it wasn't going to be tacky. It wasn't going to be dry enough for me to tape everything off. And vice versa, if I had sprayed the gunmetal first, I wouldn't have had time to tape off the gunmetal to spray the red. So I had to hand paint it. It's not the best. The helmet even broke. This cracked right here while I was sanding it because I was just putting too much pressure on it and holding it weird. So this thing kicked my ass, but overall I think it came out good, and it definitely took some good photos. So yeah. If you have questions about things I didn't answer, just please give a quick little look to my other update videos. I have them out there for a reason. I promise a lot of the stuff I didn't mention here has been covered. I just wanted to show you guys more the new updates and where the suit's been and how it's been, coming out and how it's all been fitting, and just really quick small things that I've gone and changed. So, okay, I lied. The last thing I actually want to show you guys is this. This is Iron Man's energy blade from Infinity War and Endgame, and a lot of you have seen this floating in the background, a lot of the videos. You probably saw it in the opener of this video, and I haven't really showed you guys this. There will be a little quick build tutorial coming out for this. This is Nico Industries' file. He gave me the file a long time ago, and he was one of the only ones with this energy blade. I actually did scale it up a little bit. I made it a little bit longer, and I made the handle a little wider. This way I could actually hold it in the suit and with the glove on, because the original file was just a little bit too small, and I was like, if I'm gonna make a sword for Iron Man, it needs to look like a sword. It needs to have some length to it, and I want to be really happy with it. Originally this was printed in clear PLA. Well, it is printed in clear PLA because I wanted it to light up. With a little bit of a time crunch and realizing that the clear PLA wasn't welding together properly, I had to bite the bullet and actually just paint it. And this is a blue spray paint, translucent blue spray paint. So it was a really nice gradient effect. And I'll talk about that in the tutorial build I'm gonna do for this. I'll show you guys the file. I'll go over some of the techniques I did for this and plans. But there will be a really nice photo shoot with this. It's just such a cool weapon. It is a little uncomfortable to hold with the glove because, plastic on plastic. So I'm still trying to sort that out.
but I think as far as it not glowing and being this nice blue LED, I think it still looks like a nice energy blade that I'm really happy of, and it definitely looks really good in pictures and in photos, so what more could I ask for? So yeah, stay tuned for this. This thing's really cool. Like I said before, I did just do a little event in the suit. There's parts scattered all across the room and I don't feel like picking them up, but it was a little Halloween trick-or-treating, trunk-or-treat event for kids, and it was really awesome. The suit was a little uncomfortable to stand in for 3 hours. I still have to do a little bit of trimming on the legs and the knees, but like I said, I'm probably always gonna be refining it. But man, like, just, it was cold out, but I was still sweating, and I know for a fact that when I took the suit off, I probably smelled like absolute trash. So someone sent me some soap. A company called Everyman Jack actually sent me some men's care product, body wash and soap. This isn't a sponsored video, but I wanted to test out my transitions, and they were really cool to send me this, so I figured I would just unbox it real quick and give it a sniff. Yeah, okay, why not? Ooh. It's Ironman themed care products. So yeah, Everyman Jack, they hit me up and they were like, hey, can we send you some stuff in exchange for, like, I don't know, some footage? Because you guys get it. It's not sponsored or anything. I'll leave a link for their stuff down below. This is really cool, like Ironman. But so what we got? We got body wash. It is Crimson Oak. Oh, yo. That smells awesome. Okay, that is way better smelling than like Axe or anything. Hand wash. My hands aren't dirty right now, but you know. And deodorant, Crimson Oak. Ooh, ooh, this actually smells really good. Cool. Yeah, they have a little partnership with like Marvel, and it's all like naturally derived and cruelty-free and all that stuff. This is like some really nice stuff, actually. Thanks, guys. That's really cool. Yeah, they said they were sending the Iron Man stuff. I was wondering why this box was so heavy. Oh, they sent me all of them. Oh, okay. So it wasn't just Iron Man stuff. It's Spider-Man, Captain America, and Black Panther. This is like really cool. It's a whole box. Fresh Air Spider-Man. Clean. It smells like clean. I don't know. Winter Mint Captain America. Ooh, that one smells good. And then Wakanda Herbs Black Panther. Rip Chadwick Boseman. Okay, I'm not being biased, but the Iron Man one smells the best. The Crimson Oak one, this one definitely smells the best. And now I have 2 bottles of it. Oh yeah, this is cool as hell. Their products. Cool. Oh, okay. Collector's edition. That's what they sent me. Okay. It just has all of them. Again, yeah. Thank you, Everyman Jack, for sending me this. I'm an aircraft mechanic. I get sweaty in this thing. I'm a car guy, so it'll be nice to smell good. And if anybody has any problems with this segment in the video, leave a comment down below so I can just delete it and ignore it, because I really don't care. That does it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This whole MK85 update series has just been so much fun to make, and like I said, it's in its final stages. I don't think I'll ever be done working on it. Eventually I'm going to upgrade the electronics. Eventually I'm going to add some other features and stuff. So it might be a little while before there's another update video, so please just, hang out, just relax. I got tons of other content. I am starting back up on Star Boost. I did take a little bit of a hiatus from this to work on some other stuff. We have really cool things coming out, like my Infinity Stone props. Things like the Power Orb, the Eye of Agamotto, and Loki's obnoxiously tall scepter. I got tons of projects in work, and I think you guys will enjoy a lot of it. If you guys are seeing this and you've enjoyed these videos, please consider subscribing. I know it's a rough watch from the first video all the way to now. My production quality has gone up for sure. The suit has evolved in just ways I couldn't have imagined. And this is the bread and butter. The MK85, this suit has just been the lifeblood of this channel. It's why I started all this. It's why I'm still doing all this. And it's just awesome. I can't say thank you enough, guys, really. So if you guys want, go check out the Discord. It's almost 900 members, or we might have just broken 900. There's a link for that down below. All my patrons, thank you so much for the support. You make so much more of this possible with these projects and all this cool stuff, of being able to afford filament and continue to do this. So thank you for that. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.